Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Bhavna Dhaya. I'm an intuitive intelligence trainer, a past life regressionist, and a channel. One of the things that I have begun to see in 2024 that it is very similar to 2020. I know that's a loaded statement, but just hear me out. A lot of the energetics of the both the years 2020 and 2024 is very similar. What do I mean by that? Um, so the year 2020 was a huge transformation spiritually. A lot of different people went through massive spiritual transformations, very quick transformations, and very deep transformations. So there was a whole range of that happening at one level. And of course, the world and some of the other people were fighting the battle in a different sense. And 2024 is very similar to that because a lot of the people are going through a massive spiritual transformation once again. Now, if you would have listened to any of my energy updates in 2020, you would have noticed that I spoke a lot about the years 2025 and 2028 and 2026 and beyond. The reason why I spoke about that because of the change in the transformation that is taking place towards 2030. Just yesterday, I was talking to a client of mine, and she was telling me about how she's going through this, transformation of falling ill and feeling the energies and just not understanding what's going on. Now, that has been actually the experience of many of my clients. And as you would have heard me say that I always believe that my service is my medicine. So it's not just one person who goes through it in isolation, but it is a collective that goes through a similar or if not the same experience. Now, what do I mean by all this transformation, energetics, and all of that? So I will try to get into some detail, but if you want to know more, you can go back and look at my 2020 videos, 2020 and 2021 videos. There have been regular energy updates that I used to do at that particular in those 2 years. Now, coming back, so from December onwards, there has been a major energy shift that is taking place across the world. And many people had started seeing into it. They were November and December were the months of feeling energized, even till about the first week of January. So feeling energized of the new energy that is coming in of the year, and goals and dreams and being able to have massive shifts in thinking and also massive shifts in manifestation, right? And that was really preparing the ground for this year. Now, from late January till about mid-March, I would say, it's been it is about experiencing that transformation, right? So once you prepare the ground, once the ground is fertile, you invite the transformation in, right? And it happens automatically. Once you invite the transformation in, you go through energetic upgrades, your physical body, your mental body, your causal body, your emotional well-being, your emotional states. It's like a roller coaster that happens. It's not great, it's not really nice, but it happens. Those shifts take place. Now, it's not as massive as 2020. People who had started experiencing the massive shifts of the change of the decade was between 2019 and almost the entire year of 2020. It's not as a massive upheaval or emotional upheaval like that, but there are still massive shifts. Now, what you might be feeling, you might be falling ill very frequently. You might be having major digestion issues, right? Now, somebody might ask, but I have a digestive issue, like I have IBS or I have this, does that mean I'm going through a transformation, spiritual transformation? Well, it's not one thing in isolation, it is multiple things, right? And if you believe that you are, then there might be an aspect of truth in that, right? So anyhow, so what people might be feeling is that you're falling ill constantly. You just feel that I don't know what my body is doing, I don't know how to adjust to it. Even though your diet is right and you're eating mostly good food or homemade food, you are still feeling blur, or don't know what's happening. You're feeling the heaviness of, what's the point of all this? Like, I can't take it. A lot of you might be feeling that you don't want to be on earth, that life on earth is so hard, that just living a human life, not an adult life, but a human life is so tough. Like, these words that I'm speaking, that's how you'll be feeling. Now, adulting, or feeling that adulting is tough, or that you're taking responsibility, that's a different transition. That's not what I'm talking about. You would feel the heaviness of just trying to make it work as a human being on earth, because you will constantly feel you're not from here. Now, you could be a star seed, you could be from different other the star constellations, or you might have a lineage of star seeds. You could also have a lineage of Atlantis, Sirius, Orion, Arcturian, so many different constellations and star systems. And so you will always feel that Earth is not your home. This is not where I am from. And I don't know what the F I'm doing over here. And, no matter how hard I try, I just can't make it work. Like, it's just a pain doing the day-to-day things. I'm talking about getting through the day. Like, for you, doing the deep work will be exciting. Like, oh, let's just go into your emotional turmoil or emotional trauma and let's look at that. That'll excite you. You'll be like, yeah, let's do that, right? But if somebody tells you that, there are things that are going wrong around you, there are people who are not understanding, you have to keep repeating yourself, people don't get what you're saying, people cancel all the time, like, what you would expect that for how people should be decent, or that people will be respectable and decent human beings or well-mannered human beings, those are the things that will get to you. Those are the things that are going to frustrate you, because you will feel that it's a normal human thing. It is basic manners. It is basic stuff. Why wouldn't you get that? Like, if you have an appointment, if you're meeting somebody, why wouldn't you call in and say, hey, I'm getting late by half an hour? I mean, that's totally stupid. Like, and then if there are people who will help you, like especially in Asian countries, people who help you around the house, house help, or your drivers, or people in your team, right? All of that, just the noise of it is going to get to you very often. And it's going to frustrate you so much that you feel that you are just not meant to be, that you are so fragile that you can't cope with just living. Like, living is hard, is what you will feel. And if you go to a normal therapist, if you go to a psychologist, or you go to somebody who doesn't get that, they will tell you that, you are um, over imagining things, or you have too much of privilege and you don't know what to do with it, or they will negate your feelings, or they will negate what you're thinking, and they'll say that, you don't have a tough life. What the hell are you complaining about? Right? And just this emptiness of it, and the fact that you're not fulfilling your potential, is going to just send you into a set, beating yourself up even more. And when you go through those times, I want you to remember two things to begin with. The first one is, are you giving too much power to other people around you? Okay, so when I say you're giving too much power, are you doing things that you don't want to do? Are you accommodating people because that's the nice thing to do? Are you going out of your way because it's normal for you? You don't feel it is out of the way. Are you trying to help people by doing their work, or doing the research that will help them, or finding out doctors, or people who can join them, or who can be of help to them? So are you trying to create an ecosystem for everybody else but yourself, because that's the most natural thing for you to do, like, because all of us coexist, right? And you don't see that reciprocity process. precocity, whatever the word is. Okay. So that's the first thing. Okay. The second thing I want you to look at, um, are you extending your boundaries too much? Okay. And if you are extending your boundaries, you're being too flexible around your boundaries. It might be because, that's the most human thing to do. But where are you selling yourself short? Where are you taking away your own self-worth or how you feel to bend backwards in terms of your boundaries? Okay. So, and the third thing I would want to add here is reflect on what would you do if you were not afraid? Because fear is a very human thing. It's the most human thing to feel, most human emotion to feel. And fear can come in all shapes and forms. So first of all, how, are you overextending yourself with others? Are you flexing your boundaries without realizing that, it is not the normal thing to do? And what would you do if you were not afraid? Okay, so those are the three questions I want you to ask yourself, and then change the action that you will take. A couple of other suggestions that I would have for you is minimize the noise. You don't have to keep listening to music while you're driving. You don't have to listen to podcasts while you're walking. You don't have to listen to your lessons while you're cooking. Minimize the noise, because one of the biggest overwhelms that you would feel if you are highly sensitive and an empath is that your senses are heightened all the time. Visually, there's too much clutter. If you can minimize the clutter visually in your house, including the walls, and by that I mean that instead of having colorful walls, have a plain white wall like this, or a cream colored wall, right? Don't put an entire wall full of photographs. Maybe it's just a blank wall, or maybe there's just a painting or a picture there. So minimize the visual influence and sensory pleasure that you're taking in. Reduce the number of people that you're speaking with. Many times we pack our week and our weekends even more. Make sure that you are not overextending your time for people who you don't want to spend your time. Maybe you made a plan, but on the day you just don't feel like, or maybe you've gotten all ready and you're walking out the door and you're locking your door and you're like, oh gosh, I really don't feel like going. So don't. I have done that, and that has made me feel so much more at ease. The times that I've done it over and over again, it has left me drained, it has left me frustrated, it has given me the lesson that the others do not value my time. The others do not value my energy. And for me, I'm at a stage of life that I have realized that my time and energy are the most important commodity, because I am living my purpose. Through my work, I am living my purpose. And it will be a disservice to my soul's journey if I'm not, if I'm not listening to that. And so I started to make changes around who gets to spend time with me, how much they get to spend time with. If you do not respect me, if it's just lighthearted, that's fine. It's not about lighthearted banter, and it's not about deep conversations. You will know intuitively whether somebody deserves your time. And if you need to get over yourself, that I don't want to be alone in my house, or I don't want to feel lonely, then get over yourself. Either choose your life's purpose, what you're here for, or choose to do, I don't care, give a damn about my life's purpose. I'm just going to do the human things because I want to do things for others and be happy with that. The more you keep trying to, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this and I want to please people, and because, I want to be of service to people, but I also don't want to do this, you are exhausting yourself out. What other senses? So reduce the visual the visuals around you, so that you're reducing your visual sense overload. Um, Reduce the noise around. Don't keep constantly listening to somebody, or podcasts or music. Reduce that. Have simple foods. Taste. Look at my throat chakra getting activated, uh, and releasing all of what is needs to be released. So simplify the taste. Don't overload your taste buds with too many different kinds of taste. Simple, natural, less salt, less chili, bland as much as possible. The more the natural, closer to the natural state, the better it will be for your brain, not just for your body. Sensory touch. Who are you allowing yourself, who are you allowing in your field to constantly, be touching you, right? Now, what happens is when people do not match your vibration and you are hugging a lot of people around you, they are absorbing your energy. They are taking your energy. They are taking all the meditation, all the high energy work that you're doing, all the high vibration work. So be very mindful, even the shaking of hands. Who are you shaking your hand with? Right? Who are you, how many times do you wash your hands? Right? All of that is a way for you to start to protect. How do you work with bodily touch? Um, what else was there? Taste. I think we've covered all the senses. Taste, sound, touch, visuals, and what else? I think I'm forgetting one. Um, but I'll come back to that. So, smell, right? Smell. Uh, Reduce the sensory overload of smell. Have natural smells. There was a huge period of time of almost 3 years. I could not take even now, but in those 3 years, I could not take any artificial synthetic smells. So all the Dolce Gabbanas, the DKNYs, all of the expensive perfumes, I had to throw it out of my wardrobe because I couldn't handle synthetic smell. And so I moved to natural smells or fragrances, or I moved to ither, which is a particular kind of Asian, Middle East Asian way of cultivating fragrance. So I started using natural fragrances, or uh, making sure that I'm eating right and I'm taking care of my body, so that I'm changing the way that waste is eliminated from my skin. Okay. And that is the next level thing that you will start to look at. So make sure that you are taking care of all the way, all the five senses, reducing sensory overload. We overload our senses too much. And when you reduce the sensory overload, you will naturally automatically have to reduce the overload on your brain. Taking too much information, taking too much of social media, the social media that you consume during the day, anything on the phone that you consume during the day, it stays for you for at least 24 to 48 hours. That there are studies that have shown that something that you probably would have watched just scrolling past stays with you for more than anything between 24 hours to 72 hours. And we may not even realize it, but that's, imagine how much overloaded our brain is. And anybody who tells you that we use only 2%, 1%, 5% of our brain, that's not true. We are taking in too much information, which is irrelevant. If you feel facing brain fog, reduce this and you will start to see the difference. So let me know if any of this made sense to you, and if you would want me to make more videos around what's happening in the world, what's happening in the energetic world, what's happening in the constellation and the galactic world or the starseed world. Let me know in the comments and or write to me, and I would love to make videos that are more relevant to you, especially this year. And also, if you enjoyed this, please do share it with somebody who may not know what they are going through. A lot of the people, especially in who are the generation that Generation Z, who is now growing up to be out of their teens, would not realize this. So please share it with as many people as you can, so that they know they are not alone. They are not crazy to think what they are thinking, and there are ways to cope with what they're feeling and experiencing. Lots of love, and I'll see you next time.